So making artisanal style bread at home is wonderful. It's not that hard and it doesn't take that much time. But you need a specific tool to do the job well, and that is an iron oven. And what does that specifically mean? That is an enameled cast iron or a raw cast iron. But which one is better? Which one makes a better loaf of bread? I get asked that question a lot, and I don't actually know the answer. So today I'm gonna make two different types of artisanal style bread in a cast and an enameled, and we're gonna see which one turns out better. Hi, I'm Jed, this is Cook Culture. So we're not going to be talking about with or without iron today. What we're talking about is what type of iron oven is the best one to invest in. So I have here two totally different ovens. One is the Victoria cast iron made in Colombia. This is an absolutely gorgeous piece that was sent to me by the wonderful people at Victoria. And this is a signature series oven. And the other one that I have is the new Lodge American made. This is 100% American made. Well, they make the knob in China. Everything else is 100% American made in an American factory. And this is a cream white enameled interior comparatively to a seasoned raw black cast iron. So I am going to do two different types of bread. I'm going to do a no-knead bread that I've already prepared the dough here, and it's been resting for about 14 hours, and by the time that I preheat the pots and get everything done and actually bake it, it's probably going to be closer to 16 or 17 hours of a fermentation. So basically, simple head-to-head. I am very fortunate that I have a double oven, so I have preheated them both to 550 degrees. So once the no-knead is done, the no-knead is a very high hydration comparatively to, well, a higher hydration comparatively to what we're gonna make it out of boule. That is going to be about a 60% moisture, and we're gonna then put a leavened round boule into each and then cook them separately. And then we'll see what the results of those are. So let's get the cast iron ovens into the heated ovens. Okay, so those guys are in the oven preheating. Two technical notes. I've got the racks at exactly the same position for both of them in the oven, so those are even. And both of the ovens are 6-quart ovens, so they're exactly the same size of each oven, which is helpful. And we're gonna have exactly the same, hopefully as close as I possibly can, measuring the dough into the same size vessels, so we can hopefully be as even as we possibly can be. Okay, so we've come to the part where I've got the preheated ovens in the oven, and I've got now this big chunk of risen no-knead bread that is 16 hours or so in. I'm going to try to separate it into these two guys here and weigh them equally. So a little bit of a dance here as I'm trying to make this all work and then get them into the pot. So we're gonna see how well I can do this. Usually I would just put this directly from the risen dough right into a hot pot, but I need to break this into two pieces. So let's see how I can go here.
At 29 and I find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again.
All right, lid back on and in the oven. So piping hot number 2. All right, and in we go. All right. So now back in the oven. Okay, so loaf number 1 done in the cast iron, and loaf number 2 done in the enameled cast iron. So loaves are looking okay. And let's let them cool a little bit, and then we'll pop them out of there. Okay, so we're going to now get the bread out of these, slightly hot, but not too hot pans. We've got the first one here is the Victoria signature. So, you know, the shape of it could have been better from how I plopped it in there. Moving the bread into the two bowls to measure them created a little bit of problem here, which, you know, is what it is. I'm trying to do them exactly, so they both are exact. But I think the way I dropped it into the Lodge pan looks better. That's just aesthetic. So it pops out of the Victoria pan, the signature pan, better. This guy here is a little bit more cooked on to the Lodge pan. Yeah, so definitely pops out of the seasoned Victoria signature pan. And I'm dealing with some definite sticking on the Lodge pan, which I don't usually get on enameled. So it's a little bit extra stuck. Like, it can be stuck a little bit. It's just in the center in there, it's just really wanting to stay stuck. It's nicely cooked on. See if I got a tool that I can get under there with. Okay, so got it. That's what we got out of the Lodge. What I will do on the next cooking is that I'm going to switch them around, and I'm going to put this guy on the top rack, sorry, in the top oven, and put the Victoria on the bottom oven and see if I get any difference. But I'm going to clean this really, really, really well to make sure that I've got any of this carbon buildup off of there. So, you know, that I did end up getting that off. That is not the end of the world. That is not too charred. Definitely just had a bit of stick. That could have had a bit of residue in the pan. The pan was clean, but it could have had a bit of residue on the enameling. But you know, the Victoria definitely just popped out beautifully and worked out gorgeous. So anyways, let's cut these guys open right in from the center. All right, there we go. Okay, so final result is pretty much identical. So a little bit more browning, blackening, a little bit sticking on the bottom for the Lodge, but really the way that they cooked up here is identical. So I've cleaned these guys up. Tiny bit of carbon that's came quickly off of the signature pan, and used some Barkeeper's Friend on the Lodge pan, and is looking a lot better. So these guys are going to go into the oven for preheat for an hour. Oakley dokley. So, got loaf 1, loaf 2. Okay, so those bad boys are going to go into the two pots. There we go. Okay, and we'll give them a little score. Okay, in it goes. Score that guy up. Okay, so we've been 25 minutes, and we're going to check this out. Okay, so lid off. How's that looking? Looking A-okay. Okay, well, yeah. In there. Lodge is looking great. Okay. Let that guy continue to go. Maybe another 20 minutes or so with the lid off. Here we are with the signature. Okay. Things are looking pretty similar. Not a lot of difference there. Okay. 25 minutes or 20 minutes or so, and then we'll check it out. All right, so the Lodge and the Victoria. There we go. They're both looking great, and they're not stuck. So everything's looking fantastic. We'll let those guys cool. There we go. Okay, so our 2 tests are done. Here are the 2 loaves that we've got. We've got the Lodge loaf and the Victoria loaf. I would say they are pretty much identical. So the only issue that we had this entire time, we had a bit of sticking from the Lodge. And as I was saying before, I think that I had a little bit of residue in there. It seemed clean to me, but you know, the way in which it stuck there, it just seemed like it had something on the enamel, because this guy lifted out just beautifully, just came out without an issue whatsoever, and you know, identically in both. So I think after doing the 4 loaves of bread, the outcome here is that enameled, raw, you're gonna get the same result. If the pan is of a decent quality, it should give you a good quality result. So I think the result here is whatever type of oven makes sense to you. You know, an enamel oven is always going to be more versatile, but you can also find some really good, inexpensive raw ovens, and that's a real win. If you're just going to make bread with this, you know, Lodge makes a really good, like, new one that you can find all over the place, but used ones that you can find in, you know, used shop or in the estate sale or wherever you can pick one up, I think it's going to be absolutely ideal for doing bread like this. So there's the results of my testing. Any comments, any questions, please throw them below. Thank you very much.